Bambino in P2, DDK in P3. I'm terribly sorry about that shitty internet, but there's really nothing I can do about it. We can see now DDK getting slowly caught up to by Alu, and it seems like Bambino makes a drastic move to the right side, to an absolutely late move to defend this move from DDK. DDK trying to go around the outside, unfortunately can't get the move done. That exit has heavily compromised the Red Bull driver, as there may have been a bit of a collision between the teammates over there. Jaguar now looking for a potential overtaking opportunity on his teammate. Meanwhile, DDK roughly a tenth and a half back. Only 4 more laps to go in this race. Terribly unfortunate that the stream had to die on me for the second time today. Super frustrating, but luckily we can keep watching the action unfolding over here, as now Dax and Jaguar side by side with each other. The Ferrari around the outside trying to make the move stick, and now Dax, will he be able to get the move done? He's still side by side with the Red Bull driver, as now with the better traction it seems like Dax is going to be able to make this overtake stick with the inside line heading into the next corner. But of course we can see Alu trying to hold his teammate, trying to hold the Ferrari off, but unfortunately it's not going to look like it's going to be enough. Dax manages to promote himself up into P5. Only 4 more laps left to go in this race, and it's all coming down to the final few corners. Now we can see Jaguar now coming into a battle with Jim by the looks of it, and now once again Dax and Alu coming into a battle. Once again Alu around the outside trying to make the move stick. They're still colliding with each other. There's wheel banging between both drivers, and Daxi with the inside line has managed to pull away. However, for how long? Alu's now going to try to slip into his slipstream. We've seen that top speed that Alu has shown before, and we can once again see that coming into straight effect here. No DRS at the moment, and we can see just a train of cars catching up from behind, as both Red Bull drivers, there's 3 wide heading into this corner, as both Red Bull drivers are trying to get past Dax and trying to sandwich the Ferrari driver. And unfortunately for Jaguar, he's going to come out on the short end of the stick. But now Alu and Dax side by side with each other. Alu trying to send it around the outside. Unfortunately can't get the move done, but he has to tuck right behind the Ferrari once again. DRS now enabled this lap, and will Alu be looking for a potential overtake? We can see him now battling with Jim. Jim sends it down the inside of Alu and manages to make the move stick, promoting himself up into P4, as there's a bit of collision between Alu and Jim, and luckily Jim doesn't lose control of his car and manages to stay in P5. Crazy racing going on here in the final few laps here at China. It seems like I don't even get a chance to breathe at the current moment. Whew. Crazy racing going on over here, and now we can see DDK trying to catch up to Jack. Jack's red light is flashing, signifying less than 10% of the battery in his car, and we can see Jack's car snapping with oversteer as well. And now we can see Bambino slowly beginning to pull away, as that gap has now increased to roughly a second. Obviously Dax, after going through the battles that he did with the rest of the grid, he's going to be dropping down. He has a 1.7 second gap to the car in front of him, and now DDK with DRS wide open. Will he be getting past Jack on this occasion, as we have a yellow flag in Sector 2? It seems to be the AlphaTauri of, I'm not even sure who, it seems to be the AlphaTauri of Shadow, who was unfortunately retired from the session, and DDK manages to promote himself up into P2. Looking down the grid, we can see Saeed now coming into a battle with Alu. Alu now trying to send it down the inside of Saeed, who did manage to get past him on the straight. Now it depends on who has the better traction here. Alu, with his 7-lap-old soft, seems to have the better traction out of the corner and manages to promote himself back up into P7. What is Seba doing in 12? Did he spin again? Yeah, no, he's just got into a collision with Bambino and Dax during the virtual safety car, and unfortunately got a drive-through penalty, and then on top of that it was just pit stop after pit stop for him. Unfortunately, things just went bad to worst. Now we can see Jack trying to keep up with his teammate, and Jim trying to keep up with Dax. Only 2 more laps left to go in this race, as we have another yellow flag, and that's Bang Average Seb, who's unfortunately spun out on track. Steva has actually managed to promote himself back up into P11 after the terrible... He was P16 not too long ago, so a fair recovery to him, I suppose. But now keeping our eye on Jack and... Timo Räikkönen? No idea. I know Kimi. Bless Kimi. Not a day goes by, don't miss him in the sport. But now, keeping our eye on Jack. Jack has unfortunately dropped a considerable amount of distance to his teammate, but now Dax sees that red flashing light behind that Williams and looks and sees a potential podium finish for himself. He's obviously going to have to close that gap, and he has done so significantly. True. You see the name reckoning, we all go crazy? Absolutely. And now Dax, roughly 3.5 seconds separating him and his teammate. Jack is going to be utilizing that DRS off his teammate to its absolute maximum capabilities so he can finish up on the podium. And looking down the grid, we can see a bunch of other drivers getting extremely close to each other. Alu getting very close to his teammate Jaguar and deciding not to send it down the inside, deciding to avoid the collision between him and his teammate. You can tell Alu feels significantly held up here as he's trying to get past his teammate as soon as possible. It seems like Alu is maybe the faster driver at the moment. Surprised Jaguar isn't just letting him through. Bringing our attention near the front of the grid now, we can see Jack once again 2.5 tenths separating him and DDK as there's another yellow flag in Sector 1. And that seems to be a Ferrari, which is the Ferrari of Bang Average Seb, who is unfortunately retired from this race. We are on the penultimate lap as well. This time slowly is running out for drivers. They're going to need to work something out or the other if they're looking to make any sort of progress on each other. Jim obviously now getting very close to, getting extremely close to Dax there. And now we have a four-way fight by the looks of it for the second podium position. And who's going to come out on top here? Dax extremely close to Jack. Jack, of course, having the DRS off of his teammate, but will it be enough? It does seem to be the case, as despite having extremely low ERS, and it seems like Dax is absolutely running on fumes in terms of ERS as well. 0 ERS in his tank at the moment. So P2 to P4 looks like are completely out of ERS. Jim at the moment also out of ERS. And the only one who seems slightly in a better situation as compared to everyone else is DDK, who's currently sitting in P2 at the moment. And we have now begun the final lap of this race. At first I thought it was going to be an extremely boring race, granted how qualifying turned out, but it's actually turned out to be an absolute nail-biter, this one. We can see Dax and Jack battling it out on the final lap of this race for the final step on the podium. And now Dax slowly closing the gap. Will he send it down the inside a bit too far back on this occasion, trying to keep it as close to the Williams driver as he possibly can. If he can't get past Jack, at least he can maybe utilize that slipstream and the ERS and the DRS that he has of the Williams drivers to maybe make a potential move on DDK. And we can see Dax slowly holding out now. Oh, and it looks like DDK's gone a bit wide there, a bit of a squirrely exit from him. But luckily it doesn't compromise him too much now. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time this race, we head through Sector 3. Bambino currently 2.9 seconds ahead from the rest of the pack. Jack getting extremely squirrely on that exit there, and that does compromise Dax ever so slightly. And now with DRS wide open, Stave unfortunately retires from the race after what was a very uphill battle from him from the start of the session. And now with DRS wide open, will he send it down the inside of Jack? This is the final opportunity. He's most likely going to get absolutely late braking from Dax as he sends it down the inside of Jack. And now they're side by side with each other. Congratulations to Bambino as he's going to come across the line to win this race. And DDK now comes across the line to finish up in P2. Dax, who managed to get the move done, finishes up in P3. Jack unfortunately loses out on the podium on the final corner of this track and drops down to P4. Jim comes across the line in P5. Jaguar and Alu in P6 and P7. Zab in P8, and Jack Kings and Prezemu coming across the line and finishing up in P9 and P10 respectively. What a fantastic race. Wow, what a move by Dax to absolutely send it in the final corner. Holy hell. That was an absolutely filthy move from Dax. I did not think that he was going to be close enough to maybe potentially send it down the inside, but he was. And he does manage to make the move set and does end up finishing up on the podium. Oh, what a race. What an absolutely sensational race. I'm terribly sorry that the race got broken up into so many streams as well. I'm not too sure what was up with the stupid internet, but hopefully it shouldn't happen next time. But a big congratulations to this man who unfortunately didn't get enough attention as much as he deserved. Bambino did a fantastic job of holding out P1. Obviously, it helped him to a considerable advantage that the rest of the grid behind him was fighting were fighting amongst themselves. But of course, it's not easy staying in P1 and then maintaining P1. A big congratulations to Bambino for winning this race, and a big congratulations to I've already forgotten the podium sitters. A big congratulations to DDK and Dax for finishing up on the podium alongside him. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be doing interviews, post-race interviews today, even though as much as I would love to, it seemed like I would pretty much get some great interviews, but unfortunately I do not have the time for that. It seems that is going to be all that we have in store for Tier 2, a fantastic race that they put up for us today. And I believe next race we're going to be heading down to Monza, so the Temple of Speed. Obviously, more exciting racing in store for us all there. So thank you all so much for tuning in to Tier 2 Racing. I will hopefully see you all next Thursday with even more exciting racing and at a track which I'm sure a lot more drivers are going to be more favorable towards.